Okay, so previously we had discussed about the adequacy of rain gauge stations in any given catchment area or in any basin. So today we are going to discuss the missing data. Okay, like for example, if you try to understand that we are in all the previous classes, we first studied how to quantify the precipitation, what are the instruments that are used to measure the precipitation. Then we understood how to represent the precipitation. Then we tried to understand how to calculate the average precipitation for any given area by Thiessen polygon method, isohydral method, or average precipitation method. So right now, what we'll do is, if at all there is a missing data, so what should we do? Okay, so that is a point, and how to interpret that missing data uh, for any given region, okay, or any given place. So basically, if you go to the website that I showed you, WRIs, in that also you do not get the consistent data. Like for example, there are stations in which there is a missing data for 10 years, 5 years, maybe 30 years also. And there are some new rain gauge stations and which doesn't have the previous records. So this is what the problem with meteorological data, that we may not find the consistency with all the with respect to the duration of uh, uh, for years. Okay, so because of that, what we do is that we use some of the basic methods in order to determine the missing values. Okay, so before that, there are two types of missing values. Like for example, I'll tell you, there is a rain gauge station in Bhutnal tank. Then there is a rain gauge stations nearby the Bhutnal tank. 4 or 5 Bhutnal tanks are there. Stations are there nearby the Bhutnal tank rain gauge station. So when there is a missing data in our Bhutnal tank rain gauge stations, okay, like for example, for last 6 months there is no rainfall recorded in that particular basin. So that is called as missing data from a particular rain gauge station. Okay, and whose missing data can be interpreted from the nearby rain gauge stations. Okay, so whatever the rain gauge stations are there nearby, from the data that is recorded from the nearby rain gauge stations, we will try to determine. Okay, so that is what the point here is. Okay, now see here, I'll just show you some of the brief methods. Okay, so as you can see in the slide, that this is the analysis of rainfall records. Means before you try to interpret or before you try to present the rainfall values or to understand the rainfall values, we first have to check the rainfall records, whether the data that is recorded is consistent or not. Okay, right. So look at this. This is one of the simplest method, which is called arithmetic mean method. Like assume that px means what, this is a site where I do not have the data. Okay, so there is a missing data. So at this site, if I want to find out how much is the rainfall at any given day or month, week, or year, okay, you assume this time, you try to understand this time period. You might be calculating the missing data for a month, or you might be calculating the missing data for a week, day, or a year also. Okay, or a fortnight also. You, what you need to do is that you need to get the rainfall records of nearby rain gauge stations. Like for example, there are 3 rain gauge stations nearby them, okay, in this given problem. Okay, so P1, P2, P3, and you need to get the data of that particular month. Like for example, if I want to calculate how much is the rainfall that is taking place in September. Okay, for September month, I'll get the rainfall records from all these nearby stations, P1, P2, P3. I'll take the average of that, then I'll get to know how much is the uh, value of rainfall for my missing rainfall station. Okay, so that's how, this is most simplest way of calculating it. Okay, arithmetic mean method, right? So next is a normal ratio method. In this normal ratio method, I'll first explain what is normal rainfall is. Normal rainfall is basically the average of rainfall that is taken for 30 years. Okay, so like for example, for January month, okay, or sorry, September month. Let's assume September month itself. So for September month, for last 30 years, whatever the rainfall that has happened in September month, okay, so we'll take that average for only January. Okay, so that is what normal rainfall for any given station is. So similarly for year also, the annual rainfall, the total annual rainfall for 30 years is taken from that rain gauge station, and the average of those 30 years will give you the n value. Okay, similarly, it can be done for a day, it can be done for a week, month, season, or fortnight. Okay, so basically, the normal rainfall, if I say normal rainfall, it represents the average of 30 years of rainfall. Okay, right. So, similarly, what we do is that we'll get the average if I want to find out how much is the precipitation of this month. Okay, now I know how much is the rainfall recorded in the nearby stations P1, P2, and P3, and I also know how much is the average rainfall for 30 years in those basins N1, N2, and N3. Okay, with that I also have the normal uh, rainfall for the station where I'm trying to determine the data. Okay, trying to determine the missing data. Okay, so nx is representing the normal rainfall. Normal rainfall means what? Try to remember this. This is the average of 30 years data from any given station. Okay, so now the nx is representing the average of 30 years of data for the station where I'm trying to calculate the missing data. Okay, so nx divided by n1. N1 is what? N1 is the normal rainfall for the first rainfall station which has the consistency of records. Okay, now p1 is representing the rainfall of that given time period, which is September. I'm giving you an example of September, right? So like this, nx divided by n1 multiplied by p1. Similarly plus of nx divided by n2 multiplied by p2. Like this, if we calculate using this equation, I'll calculate how much is the missing rainfall record of the particular site. Okay, I hope there is no doubt with calculating the normal ratio period. Now, similarly, there is a reciprocal inverse weighing factor. So, in this is the equation which is being used. Okay, xn is representing the distance between the data. Okay, now in order to include the spatial changes that happens. Okay, so what we do is that my rain gauge station, like for example, if the one rain gauge station is Bhutnar tank and the other rain gauge station is somewhere in Indy, so I'll calculate what is the distance between them. Okay, so that I'll call it as xn. Xn is representing the distance between the missing data gauge and other gauges surrounding the missed gauge. Okay, whichever there is a missed gauge is there, the distance you need to calculate from that missed gauge to all the nearby rain gauge stations. Okay, and we'll use this equation to calculate the px value. This is clear, right? So this is how we try to determine the missing rainfall values. Okay, then there is other method also called as double masker. I'll come to this double masker later. From the graphical values also we can find out the missing data. Okay, anyhow, we'll come back to this later. Before that, I would like to solve a problem. Okay, so let me show you that problem. Okay, you can read the first C. Rain gauge stations X did not have function for a part of month during which a storm occurred. The storm produced rainfall of 84, 70, 96 mm at three surrounding stations A, B, and C respectively. The normal annual rainfalls at the station X, A, B, C are respectively 770, 882, 736, 944 mm. Estimate the missing rainfall at station. Now you can either solve by arithmetical mean method or you can solve by normal method. Okay, like for example, you can use both of these method. You can either use this method, arithmetic mean method, or normal ratio method. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll use these two equation and we'll try to solve that problem. Okay, all of you can take out your notes and write down these equations, these both methods, and then we'll determine how much is that value. Okay, right. So please note down this quickly. See here, the what I did is that I had taken the ratio of nx by nx is representing the normal rainfall at x station where there is a missing data, A, B, C are the rainfall values of nearby stations. So P is representing the rainfall for that given duration, and Pn is representing all the rainfall values with respect to normal rainfall. Okay. So I have taken the ratio Nx by Ni means what? 770 is divided by all of these each values, and they are respected in their adjacent columns. Okay. This. Okay. Next, what I did is that I multiplied this P value. This is P1, P2, and P3. So those respective values were multiplied by this ratio Nx by Ni, and I have written in this column. Next thing is that I'll take the sum of all of those. Okay. We take the sum of this. Right. Right now, what we have done in this bracket, whatever was there, I have calculated. Now I have to calculate Px. So Px I'll calculate here itself. So what I do is that I'll multiply 1 by 3 with this value. Okay. So the rainfall value of this missing rain gauge station is 74.9574. So this is the value. Okay. I hope this was clear. So if you have any doubt, you can ask me in solving this. This is simple. Okay. There are formulas. Use those formulas and calculate how much is the missing value. Okay. So I hope this is clear. Next, what we'll go is I'll show you one of the method called double mass curve method to determine the missing data. Okay. So what we do here is that as you can see, this is the curve. Okay. This is called double mass curve analysis. So first I'll explain what is this graph whichever we have. This is the cumulative rainfall at a test station. Test station is station where we do not have a record. Okay. Cumulative value of surrounding base stations. Okay. These are the cumulative value of surrounding base stations, whichever station that we consider. Okay. All right. Now see here. What we need to do is that we need to determine this curve. Like see, when I for any given duration. Okay. So what we do is that we'll try to draw this curve with respect to those cumulative values. I do not have a problem on this. I'll try to find a problem in the next class and I'll show you how this works. Okay, if possible. So for any given duration, like for example, there are 10-hour period. So the first hour, whatever the rainfall that I have from the test station and base stations are recorded. Okay. So next what happens is if there is error in the value, like see, if there is a straight line represents that both stations recorded similar kind of values, similar kind of rainfall. Okay. So if this line doesn't go with the straight line, so what happens, it basically tells you that there is uh, change of uh, a missing of rainfall, or there is a correction that is to be made from that point. Okay. So this correction is made by two conditions. This is one of the method. Okay. The data can be adjusted to reflect the conditions prior to the break. This is done by multiplying each precipitation value after the break by ratio A and B. Okay. See here, this is break point, what we call. till this point till this point the cumulative rainfall values of surrounding basin and test basin were remaining same. They were consistent, but at this point it breaks, it changes. Okay. So the change is represented over here. Okay. It goes like this. So what we do is that we'll take the slope before the break and the slope of the curve after the break. Then we take the ratio of a and b, and we multiply with all the values of test station, rainfall values of test station after the break, whatever the values that we have. So it's a little bit confusing. Anyhow, I'll explain it with the problem in the next class. Okay, the method, you try to remember it. This is how it is to be done. Okay, so the cumulative rainfall at test station will be on the y-axis. Cumulative value of surrounding base stations will be on the x-axis. Then what we do is that we'll determine that there is any break point. At that break point, uh, we'll find out the slope before the breakpoint and after the breakpoint, and we'll take the ratio of those slopes a by b, and we'll multiply with all the values of rainfall in the test station after the breakpoint with a by b. Okay, that's how we try to find out the consistency of rain gauge station. So these are the some of the methods to determine the consistency of rainfall records. Okay, next what we'll do is that I have not solved a problem on Thiessen polygon method, so I would like to solve that problem. So I'll read out quickly. Okay, I hope the question is visible to you. The 1C, the Thiessen weights for a network of 10 rain gauge stations in a river basin of area 6000 square kilometer are. So these are the values: 0.1, 16, 12, 0.11, all of these. These are the Thiessen weights. I'll tell you what is Thiessen weight is. Okay, so no need to worry about it. So the rainfall records at these rain gauge during a storm are, so for any given storm period, this is the rainfall value which is recorded. Okay, so this is with respect to the Thiessen weights. Like for example, for 0.1 Thiessen weight, 132 is the rainfall value. For 0.16 Thiessen weight, 114 is the value. Like similarly, it goes on. Okay, determine the average depth of rainfall by Thiessen method and arithmetic mean method. Okay, you need to calculate. You need to determine the average rainfall for both for by both the method, which is Thiessen method and arithmetic mean method. Okay, that's what I have done is that I have already written this in the Excel sheet over here. Okay, serial number represents all the rain gauge stations that we have. This is rainfall value. Sorry, I have just made a mistake. This should be written as weights, and this should be written as rainfall values. Okay, and this is representing the product of weights and rainfall. Okay, so to understand what is this weight, what I'll do is I'll go back to this PPT. Right, so this is the total area. Assume right now this is the total area of watershed which is given in your problem, which is 6000 square kilometer or something. So in that area, how many rain gauge stations are there? There are 10 rain gauge stations are there. Okay, in this diagram we are only seeing 3 rain gauge stations. Okay, now I'll tell you what is weight is. Weight is basically this is your P1 and this is the area A1. So P1 is representing the rainfall at that station. A1 is representing the area which is influenced by that rain gauge station. So this entire rain gauge this area is represented by this rain gauge station. So that's why this is, I'm calling it as A1. Okay. So let me call this total area as A. So A1 divided by A is the weight of this rain gauge station. Now, similarly, if I want to calculate what is the weight of this rain gauge station, what I do is that A2 is the area bounded by this rain gauge station, or area which is influenced by this rain gauge station. So A2 divided by A will give you the W2. W2 is the weight of second rain gauge station. Similarly, the weight of this rain gauge station is calculated by A3 by A. Okay, like this is how the weights are calculated. Now in this, what he has done is that he has directly given you the weights. Okay, so weight here is representing A1. A1 divided by A. A is how much? A is already given to you, which is 6000 square kilometer. So don't need to worry. There is already the weights which are given to you. Okay, now going back to that equation. What is that equation? Okay. So here in the corner you can see how to calculate the average of rainfall, which is what you try to take this A inside this summation symbol. Okay, so what it becomes, AI divided by A it becomes. So AI divided by A means what? It is weight itself. So individual weights like W1 should be multiplied by P1, W2 should be multiplied by P2. So like similarly, we need to solve for all the values. So see here, that is what I have written here: products of weights and rainfall. So this point 1 is multiplied by 132, and I have written all the values similar to that. Okay, so once you write all the rainfall values, next what is the next thing to do? We need to take the sum. Okay, so I have taken the sum. So the sum of all these values is representing the average rainfall for that area. Okay, so this is a way to calculate the average of rainfall by using Thiessen polygon method. Okay, so similar problems will be asked in your question paper also. I hope there is no doubt with this. So if you have any doubt, you can ask me. So this completes your first module.